Maybe I got some floral on it the second sip. Like, I'm really trying to get something here. Like, I'm trying.
You want so much from this.
I had higher expectations, and it could do better. Welcome to the channel, bringing a real-world perspective to the real-world whiskey consumer.
And welcome back to the first sip. This sample was drawn at random from our first sip sample pool. That means that we are tasting this totally double blind, and whatever's in this glass is something that we've never had before. With that said, let's get right on into it. On the nose.
I'm getting a lot of boozy apple juice on this.
Oh, I see your apple juice. Yeah, I was going more in like the strawberry pastry lane. Like I was thinking something along the lines of like, you know those powdered sugar donuts? But like, do they have them where they're strawberry flavored? That's kind of what I'm getting off of this.
Okay.
Yeah. Very interesting, very fruit forward. Sounds like we're both kind of leaning that way.
In the fruit family.
Yeah, I'm definitely, and I can see your apple juice too. It's definitely fruity, apple juicy, strawberry-ish. Smells pretty decent on the nose, kind of the one note right now. But I'm interested to get this on the palate and see if that translates. So let's get into it.
So I didn't get a lot. Can I have a second first sip?
Yeah, you have a second first sip.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, for me, I feel like everything translates from the nose over to the palate. And I don't want to say too much until Erin has a chance to kind of get her thoughts together and react. I try not to influence her too much with them. But this is a very interesting pour, I'll say that. You feel anything?
I'm not getting a lot other than some like oak and some heat.
Okay.
Like I'm not getting a lot of flavors outside of the feeling of heat.
That's funny that you say that because I'm definitely getting the flavors that we got on the nose. But in addition to that, or maybe overwhelming those flavors, is just a straight up alcohol burn.
Yeah.
Right down the middle of the palate. And it's not, to me, it's barely even oaky. It's not getting much oak in this one for me.
Like if I have to pick a flavor, it's oak though.
Yeah.
That's all I'm getting.
I'm getting oak, that kind of appley strawberry sweetness, but it's kind of all getting overwhelmed by this thin, sharp alcoholness, at least on the first sip. But this is our first sip of whiskey for the day. Let's get back into it and see if we can get anything else.
Maybe I got some floral on it the second sip. Like I'm really trying to get something here. Like I'm trying.
You want so much from this.
I had higher expectations, and it could do better.
Yeah. To me, again, as always, on the second sip, things kind of tend to come into more balance, and that's what I'm getting here. The alcohol sting has died down some, but it still is pretty alcoholic. I mean, it's whiskey, so of course, right?
Yeah.
But it's got an alcohol-forward nature about it, and it's a little thin and sharp because of that. Underneath that is some good stuff, but it's just hard for me to appreciate that stuff as much as the alcohol is kind of overwhelming the pour. I need to get into another sip for sure.
Okay. I really want more for it.
Yeah.
I want it to have the best life. I wanted to give it everything, but it let me down.
Yeah, it seems like that's kind of where we're both landing right about now, but we need to spend some time with this and properly assess it. We'll be back with some scores in just a minute. We've got our tasting scores. Let's talk about them.
So this pour was just okay for me overall.
Yeah.
Everything. I think I said it in the first little bit. I just wanted more from it, and it wasn't giving it to me.
It never delivered. It didn't come through.
No.
No, for me, on the nose, I thought the nose was quite nice. It had that fruity, fluffy, strawberry oakiness that I was getting. And then on the palate, it still had that. But again, I just couldn't get past the thinness, the alcohol sharpness. It never recovered from that. And the oak that was on there was just kind of bitter. Yeah, bitter, sharp, wasn't really doing it for me. I would say I'm interested in finding out what it is, but I'm not particularly interested in owning a bottle of it, I don't think. But let's find out what we've been sipping. So in our blind sample pool, this is number 92. We're going to find out price first and then what we've been drinking. So price?
Price is $60.
Man, that's a bit much for that. Like I was feeling like it was like a $30 bottle of whiskey.
Yeah.
All right, what is it?
5 Trail American Whiskey.
Oh.
It's 95 proof, and it's a sample given to us by Barry Hawk.
Thanks, Barry. Dude, so yeah, this is like a Colorado whiskey. I don't know a ton of details on it, and I don't think it's sourced. I remember when Barry gave us a sample, I looked it up, and it seemed like it was their own distillate. It didn't come across very crafty. It came across kind of like a major distillery product, just a little young, a little sharp, and
a little disappointing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, 95 proof and probably pretty young.
Yeah.
It's going to come across how it's coming across.
Yeah.
It's definitely not performing above and beyond what it is, but for what it is, the flavors are very good. And what this actually makes me think is that if Five Trail can get some stuff that's aged up a little bit more, they might have something good on their hands. I don't really know if it's available in our market or not. It seems like Molson Coors has some involvement in this product, and Bardstown Bourbon Company has some involvement in this product. And it's this big American whiskey blend for $60. So there's some work and there's some companies behind this thing trying to make it work. But it's $60 is what the price is. Availability, kind of unknown, but I can't imagine it's flying off the shelves. But let's just call it a $60 craft whiskey. Kind of the entry level there. How are you feeling about the retail score based on the price and the availability?
I'm going to give it just okay. For a craft whiskey, the price isn't bad. It's probably not available in our market, but it might be. I don't know. So just okay.
I'm going to give it a just okay on retail as well. I think for a craft whiskey, the price is kind of in line with what you would expect. Kind of like a $60 in craft whiskey is kind of like the equivalent of $30 in a major distillery's bourbon. But for me, it's just okay. Now you walk into a store and you see this sitting on the shelf for $60. Are you buying it? Would you get some at a bar? How are you feeling about it?
I would do neither. So thumbs down.
Thumbs down. It's a hard pass for you.
It's a hard pass.
And that puts your real world score at?
2.5.
Okay. Whoa, wow, really?
No, 2.
Okay.
It's 2.
I was like, I got a 2.5 too.
It's 2.
Not to spoil the plot, but I gave it a thumbs down on consumer as well. Although I might grab a pour in a bar if I were there and it was like a bunch of standard pours. I might get this just to try something different, personally speaking. But yeah, I'm going to stick with thumbs down. That's going to put it at a 2.5 out of 10. And those scores for us on a 10-point scale, that's more like a bell curve, kind of indicate low value for the money, but it's kind of hard for a 95 proof young craft whiskey to get really high value marks for the money based on our scoring system. It's just not quite to our preferences, but it was a fun pour to try, even if it did let us down a little bit. I did like the flavor though. I got to give it that.
It was fine.
And if you think this video is fine, or maybe even a little bit better than fine, then go ahead and give us a like, subscribe if you like this style of content, and hit the bell if you want to be notified when we're doing our once a month live streams.
That's it for today. Thanks so much for watching.
Be good to each other, and until next time, cheers.